Back in time, BassMaster Magazine, July, August. This was a real weird event and a real weird time frame for me, and I'll never forget it because it was the first time in BASS that we really had a good payout. They were paying down to 50 places. I ended up 21st, made $1,800, which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, this is 1983, and outside of my classic wins, it was the biggest purse I'd ever won. And yet, 21st place, I got back to the motel room and I stuffed my fist through the wall. I was so upset with myself because I had did everything I knew in my power to prepare myself for this tournament, and 21st place just was not good enough. King Cook won it.
First place was how much?
100,000, and plus it was one of the very first tournaments that ESPN was actually going to delayed television, but they were going to televise it. And so this, to me, was what, you know, if you were going to be a pro, you were waiting for all these variables to happen, because all of them were going to, you know, restore to you or solidify to you that you're doing the right thing. And yet I'll never forget it. I mean, I did have a temper back then, but I was by myself. I walked back in the motel room. I'm not going to tell you that I was bawling, but I probably was. And I mean, I literally just punched the wall. And so anyway, but still, let me get into the more of the, this is in April on St. John's River. And St. John was very good to me later on. But Ken won it. And I think that's one of the other things that probably upset me. It was because he won it on a spinnerbait, Ken was an excellent spinnerbait fisherman. So it was an interesting event. He caught an 8 something the final day, and I think that's him holding it up right there. And it won the tournament for him. Because it was, as you can see, it wasn't a lot caught. This was a 2-day event, and he had 14 fish that weighed 41 pounds. And
tell me the top 10.
Yeah, the top 10 were King Cook, 14 bass, 41 pounds. Jerry Brown from Louisiana, 12 bass, 37 pounds. Ray Tester from Satellite Beach, Florida, Cliff Craft from Sugar Hill, Georgia, Larry Nixon from Hemp Hill, Texas, Calvin Boyette from Florida, Guy Icker from Cherryville, North Carolina, Jack Jenkins. As you can see, there's a lot of names you probably don't recognize in here because this was a lot of more guys entered this tournament because they saw how big the prize purse was. And like I said, I ended up 21st with 11 bass that weighed 25 pounds, made $1,800, which, you know, I should have been pleased, but I wasn't.
Can I ask you another question? Obviously, that's not a classic.
No, it was a regular event.
Why were other people allowed to enter it?
I am not real sure.
Okay.
I don't remember back then. Ray was putting on this. He got ESPN to agree.
Like an exhibition tournament or
well,
something?
no, it's just he just elevated the purse. Like in golf, you have regular tournaments, then you have the Masters.
But did that give you points toward making the classic?
Yes.
Even?
Yes.
Even though there were other people in it.
Right.
Okay.
So it was an interesting event from that standpoint. But because again, it was the first big money tournament, and then the first one ESPN's going to televise it, you know, which still is a big deal, but especially a big deal back then. No. Anyway, my fish survived it.
Did you have to pay for the hole in the wall?
I just left. I left and got, as you've seen me do, got in my truck and headed home.
Okay.
No, this is again at the getting toward the end of the year where we're trying to re-qualify for the Classic, and the angler of the year again is Hank Parker, and then Larry Nixon's right behind him. David Wharton is third, Tommy Martin is fourth, Ken Cook is fifth, I'm seventh, Bo Dowden was sixth right ahead of me, and Randy Fight, my younger brother, was ninth. Ricky Green, Harold Allen, this was all guys that are in the top standings at this point in time. And Hank won at this tournament at Virginia, is what gave him the lead. Cliff Craft was second. Roland Martin was third in the Virginia tournament. Woo Daves from Virginia was...
Where in Virginia?
Woo's from...
No, the tournament.
It was at a lake called Bugs Island,
Okay.
and which has been renamed since. So I'm going to let you guys figure out what lake that is. It was named after some president I've never heard of. Okay. But it was Bugs Island. It's just south of Richmond, Virginia. Down at the lake below is Lake Gaston. So, and then we went on to the Mississippi River. Yes, I almost skipped this one. My biggest, everybody gets, they've never won the Super Bowl if you're a football player. You never won the national champion if you're college, you know. And well, my baggage back then was I'd never won a regular season tournament. I'd won 2 classics. I won a Bass Champs tournament, but I'd never won a regular season tournament. But I finally did on the Mississippi River at La Crosse, Wisconsin. And so I got Harold Allen off my back. You know, 'cause he was the one that always reminded me that you can't win a regular season tournament. And he was right there for a while, but I won it, and it was kind of an interesting deal because Randy Fight, my brother, was fourth. Ricky Green was third, and I actually locked north. You can lock on the Mississippi River there, and I went north and went through the lock. And I had the second lock time schedule, which they scheduled when we could come back through, but still you were at the mercy of that the big barges and stuff still had priority. And fortunately, I made the decision. I caught my fish, and I said, I'm going to lock back through on that first flight, not the one I'm scheduled for. And I did. And anyway, the flight that I was supposed to lock back through got caught by a barge and didn't get through. So I would have lost that catch and lost that win. And of course, Jimmy Houston, being the jokester he always has, we were getting down to the final guys weigh in, and Jimmy, I didn't know they had been caught in that lock yet. And Jimmy got out of his boat and he just started putting one big fish after another in his bag. And he hadn't plenty to beat me. Well, what he had done when they got caught in the lock, he went and got everybody's big fish and put in his bag.
Rude.
Yeah. So he finally said, we got caught in the lock, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so, but anyway, no, that was my very first regular season tournament win. Was in BassMaster. This was a late summer tournament on La Crosse, Wisconsin, Mississippi River. So that does it for the high. I think that would show you the highs of winning and the lows of losing in one issue.